Hi, and welcome back to the Microsoft 365 Business Sales Readiness Series. Now that you have the broad vision for Microsoft 365 and Microsoft 365 Business, it's time for you to learn how to pitch it to your customers. And at the end of this session, I'm going to show you my 90-second elevator pitch that I personally developed so you can benchmark whether you're better than me. You probably are, though. So let's get started by meeting a real Microsoft 365 Business customer, Chad. Chad is facing a bunch of challenges. He's about 30 years old, and he's really not a techie type. He's a creator. Those are his words, not mine. Now, he's on the road 4 months out of the year, and he's growing his company like crazy. And he's not quite sure how technology can help him. And frankly, he hadn't thought about it until he and I managed to get in touch. I never showed him this particular slide, but I know about these trends from research, and it's going to help me in my conversation with him. When Chad showed up in my office in Redmond, I started to talk to him about this solution that I thought might be able to help him grow his business. He didn't know what that really meant, but he let me take him through it anyway. I talked to him about achieving more together, and he got that right away. It was about being productive and being able to connect with his suppliers in China. I talked to Chad about productivity and collaboration anywhere it matters. Knowing that he was on the road for 4 months out of the year, it was critical that he have access to his files and can stay connected back to his business in Los Angeles without disruption. Then I started talking to Chad about always-on security. And this is pretty much where I lost him. It's where we lose most SMB customers when we talk about any product. Security is daunting, and it seems like we have to engage an expert to be able to grasp it. Chad asked me what it meant to have always-on security. I told him that it means that he can be able to protect his company data across devices, and that's both his company-owned as well as employee-owned devices. He immediately asked me what I meant by that, so I gave him an example. I told Chad it's about introducing security that follows the user and protects that data on the device, so that if somebody loses the device or leaves the organization, he can easily wipe all the data from it so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. Now, this wasn't a scripted experience or a scripted interaction with Chad, but I can literally almost see the light bulb go off in his head when I talked about that. He told me that he doesn't trust his data with just anybody, and as a result, he's only given Office 365 to 4 people in his company. He said that he actually had to let go of one of those people who he just let into his inner circle, and he was freaking out. He told me that someone went down to that person's house to bang on the door and take that phone away from them to wipe his customer lists and email from that device. Okay, I knew that I had Chad right then. I told him that with Microsoft 365 Business, he could wipe that former employee's device so that they couldn't access any of his business information again. Now here's where this experience could come crashing down. At the start of this, remember I said that Chad was not a techie kind of person? Well, he asked about how simple it was. Back then, I didn't really have a demo video like all of you have today, but I'll tell you that the demo was super easy. I had convinced him, and we scheduled a follow-up call. Now, the call lasted about 25 minutes, and Chad was fully set up. But it doesn't take 25 minutes to set it up. It's only about 10 minutes. But Chad had a bunch of extra questions, and that extra time was spent teaching him about Microsoft Teams. Today, he knows how to secure his data so that the right people have access to it, and he's comfortable enough that he's deployed Microsoft 365 Business out to all 25 employees. He's better connected to what is going on in production and shipping, and is sleeping a bit better on his flights over to China to better grow his business. Chad is the guy that didn't know that he could do it, and now he can. You can as well. So here are my best practices in developing my pitch. Before you jump into a conversation, think about your customer. What do you know about their business and the way that it works? This is all about ensuring that you have enough background on your customer to identify which benefits of Microsoft 365 Business will resonate with them the most. If you're preparing for a cold pitch where you don't have any background on the customer, plan on starting the conversation with questions like, how many employees do you have? Are they all in one office? Do you have salespeople on the road? Or do you have multiple offices? How do the different departments interact? Now, if you're preparing for a warm pitch, reflect on similar questions based on the information that you already know about your customer. You can use questions like, how often does your team work together on documents? How often does your sales team work from the road? What progress insights are you needing from your team, and how often? Answers to these questions will help you figure out which elements of Microsoft 365 to emphasize during your pitch. Now, once you've gathered insights about your customer, it's time to introduce them to Microsoft 365. Use the customer pitch deck to practice and talk about those 4 pillars of Microsoft 365 Business. Achieve more together, anywhere it matters, always on security, and simplified for business. Now, my third best practice is to use storytelling to resonate and reinforce the value with your customer. This best practice will take your pitch to the next level. You can use my customer example, Chad. He's on the Microsoft 365 Business webpage and in the pitch deck, so your customer can put a face to the name. But if you have your own that you want to use, think about the insights you know about your customer from my first best practice and prepare to deep dive on a specific Microsoft 365 pillar or multiple pillars that you know will resonate with them. For example, if you know that your customer has lots of salespeople on the road who need to work from tablets or mobile devices, focus in on the anywhere it matters and always on security pillars. You can even talk to them about the anywhere it matters pillar by describing that their sales team can engage with coworkers while on the road and never miss out on those important documents. And they can keep files, calendars, email, and contacts all up to date from anywhere. Tell your story about how employees on the road can create, edit, and share files anytime, either from their PC or mobile device, or even a tablet. Because their sales team is constantly on the road, one thing is certain: your customer will need to be sure about the security. So use the always on security pillar to drive home the fact that Microsoft 365 Business will keep your business and customer data secure. It is stored in the same data center as Microsoft's largest enterprise customers. And best of all, the promise of Microsoft 365 is that we're going to protect that company data across devices. So if an employee leaves a laptop or a cell phone on an airplane accidentally, I've done that, you can immediately act to protect that sensitive business information and keep it from being exposed. Now finally, you should use a demo to show Microsoft 365 Business in action. The product really comes to life in that demo. So end your pitch with a demo so that your customer can see the features of Microsoft 365 Business working together. Now, before giving the pitch to your customer, make sure that you're set up with a demo tenant. That way you can seamlessly access that demo environment to be able to show them without any delay. Go to demos.microsoft.com to get set up. The setup process is pretty quick, and once your tenant is ready, you'll be able to deliver effective demos that cover the full range of Microsoft 365 features and scenarios on both desktop and mobile devices. Alternatively, you can use your own Microsoft 365 or Office 365 tenant to showcase many of the productivity apps. The real value for the end user is showing them how Outlook or Teams can help them be more productive and work better together. I'll tell you, that demo is so powerful. Now that's it. Those are my best practices, and that will really help you construct and deliver your own perfect pitch. Now, I'm not saying I've perfected my own, but here's my attempt at the 90-second or elevator perfect pitch. Since you never know when or where an opportunity to pitch Microsoft 365 will come up, practice this with your coworkers or friends. It took me a while, but I managed to find someone who was willing to listen to my pitch over and over again. Thanks, Mom. Now, she really loves that video, and I'm pretty sure you will too. Come back afterwards, and I'll give you a list of resources for you to move on. Microsoft 365 Business is our new product designed to empower teams, safeguard businesses, and simplify IT management with a single solution that is built for small business. It brings together the best of Microsoft to give small businesses everything that they need. Now, what's in it? First, to empower teams, we have included the full Office suite, including Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, as well as some amazing services to enable you to connect with customers, suppliers, and your coworkers. Products like Outlook and Teams, OneDrive, and even Bookings are the tools that small businesses need to run and grow their business. Now, the next part to this solution is security. Microsoft 365 Business enables you to protect company data across devices. You'll always be up to date with Office and Windows 10 on your work PCs, getting all of the latest security updates and features, as well as securing your company data in the Office mobile apps on your employees' iOS and Android devices. Now, when an employee leaves the organization, you can remove that company data while not impacting other apps and data on the device, such as pictures or text messages. Now, the last piece to this is so important, and that is to make it easy to implement and manage, especially when you need to take action to protect your company data. With Microsoft 365 Business, it's simple enough that you can configure dozens of policies and settings in a matter of minutes through a simple, easy to understand wizard. And when adding new employees to your growing business, all of your security policies are automatically applied, so there are no extra setup steps. Together, we can bring our customers to the cloud with a scalable solution that grows with them. Microsoft 365 Business. Achieve more together, anywhere it matters, with always-on security. All right, that brings us to the end of this Microsoft 365 Business video. Now here are your next steps. First, go to the website, Microsoft365.com, to learn more about Microsoft 365 Business. I use this website instead of a PowerPoint deck to pitch to any customer, and it's really awesome on any size screen. Next, download the pitch deck and go to demos.microsoft.com to get set up with your Microsoft 365 Business demo. In the pitch deck is a great narrative for pitching Microsoft 365 Business. Then use my best practices to prepare your 90-second elevator pitch for Microsoft 365 Business. And lastly, and most importantly, practice, practice, practice. Shoot me a note on LinkedIn and tell me your best practices for pitching to customers. Thank you for watching, and be sure to check out the additional videos on the Microsoft 365 Business Sales Readiness series.